Hey guys, welcome back. It's me Rajan Sharma, and in this tutorial we are going to create another awesome functionality in the application social media app. So guys, in this tutorial I will show you that how can we create a recent chat list. So you can see that this time when user will click on this send message button, so you will see a activity which is recent chats, and here when you will click on the user, so you will see that the message, okay, and you can also see the blue tick functionality where you will be able to see the message is sent, the message is delivered, and the message is seen, okay. So and you can see this hello sir is my last message, and it is appearing here. And also you can see the last seen of the user 10:14 p.m. fine. And when you will click on this floating action button, so you can see all the user who exist on this application, so you can start chatting with them. When you will simply click on this send message, so you will see your old chats here, okay. And you can also see a button for video call. And one more thing that I will show you, how can we implement this UI change in the fragment 4, where you can see that we have this forward button, comment, likes, and you will click on this, so you will see these options. And if I will like this post, so you will receive a notification. And yeah, so you can see the notification is here, Rajan Sharma liked your post. And okay, so this is what I'm going to show you in this tutorial. And you can also see that we have implemented this your story functionality, so where you will click on it, so you can see, okay. And so guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you that how can we create this functionality, and in next videos we will focus on new message count and other features like follow fetching the post of users who we are following only, okay, and forwarding story reply, reels, so many features we are going to add, okay. So just subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so you will not miss any video update, okay. And for source code visit rajansharma.com. So guys, very first of all we will start by creating a model class, okay, which is a class where we will store the values, okay. And can see that the public class name is RC model, okay. The public class name is RC model. Here you have to declare some strings like name, URL, last message, time, seen, delivered, and receiver user ID. So these are the ID, these are the variables that you have to declare, okay. The data type will be string. Then after that you have to create an empty constructor which we need for fetching data from firebase real-time database, okay. Then after that you have to create getters and setter for all these strings. That process is quite simple. Simply select it, then click on alt plus insert, okay. And then you have to select this option getter and setter, control plus A, and enter. Then you will be able to generate all these getters and setters, okay, like this, fine. So after creating this RC model class, you have to do is simply open message activity, and simply go above in this activity. And here you have to declare a reference which is going to be RC sender, RCR. It is a short form for recent chats for sender, recent chat for receiver. So you have to declare two variables for database reference of Firebase, fine. So now after doing this, and open on create, here we will give its reference, okay. Here you can see this reference on the screen, and I am not hiding any part of code, everything is visible on the screen. I'm just not typing it because it is very time consuming process, and I know that you guys do not have the time to watch 1 or 2 hour long video. You guys just want to see the codes, or you will understand the logic, okay. Because if you have seen the 100 videos of social media application from the beginning, then I think you will be able to do it by your own. It's not that complicated, okay. That's why I'm showing you the logic, that how exactly I'm going to implement such functionality, so you will be able to implement it by your own, okay. So nothing is very complicated, everything is simple. Just watch the video carefully. And for codes visit rajansharma.com or PayPal, okay, you will get it. So this is a reference that you have to give for sender UID and receiver UID. Process very simple. We will create a root parent node which is recent chats. Later we will differentiate with sender UID and receiver UID, fine. So for sender we will pass sender, for receiver we will pass receiver UID, okay. So now after that what you have to do is you have to simply come inside this send message method where we are storing the data, okay. So guys, very first of all you have to create a method which is delete old reference. And after creating this method, you have to inside this delete old reference method, you have to simply, we will run two queries for deleting data from firebase real-time database, okay. The first query will be let me show you the codes, it's very simple, Okay, so very first of all you have to write query, then receiver rc recent chat for receiver, pass parameter ruid equals to sender uid, and then we will simply delete the value. Then you can see the following codes on the screen. Okay, then query number 2, here basically what we are doing, that we are deleting the node of recent chat. Okay, let's say for example if you have sent a message to a user, okay, and now you want that user to appear on the top of the list because you have sent a new message to that user, so you just want that user item to be on the top of recent chat list. Okay, so that functionality is you can say we have achieved that task by doing this algorithm. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to use write this line of code. Okay, query number 1, then we will do same thing with query number 2. Here you have to do the recent chat for sender, pass parameter ruid equals to receiver uid, and then we will do the same thing, we will remove a value. Okay, and this was a complete code that you have to write inside this delete old reference method. And yeah, now the complete code is visible on screen. Fine guys, so simply pause the video, write down the codes, or if you don't want to do it, you just want a simple way, so you can visit rajansharma.com, you can send me money on PayPal. Okay, $10 for lifetime access of all the projects, or for codes. Okay, only for codes. For zip files you have to pay $15 for lifetime access. Okay, and you know the best deal is $25, you will get the APK file. Simple, done. And so this is the complete code for delete old reference method. Now after that you have to come inside the send message method, and here you can see that you have to initialize the model class which we have created just few seconds ago. RC model, first of all you have to create a variable for sender side, RC model sender, then initialize it. Later you can see the data that we are storing inside this. Okay, so RC model sender name. Okay, so here you have to pass receiver name, sender, receiver uid, set time, current date and time, and I will also show you the time sequence. This is the code for fetching the time. Okay, then after that time set scene, for now you have to leave it like this, set leave it like this, set url last message is message, and then after that you have to write key sender rc.push.get key. Okay, then after that we will create another variable which will be for receiver side. Let's say for example if you will send a message, so you just want to appear it in your recent chats, and also on the receiver sides you want to appear on the top, because see, if user A will send a message to user B, so user A sent message, but now on the phone of user A we also want the new message to appear on the top, just like WhatsApp. When you receive a new message, so it shows on the very top of the chat window. So same thing we will be doing here. Okay, so when it comes to receiver, you have to pass the value of current user, sender name, sender uid, current time and date. Okay, set scene null, delivered null for now. Okay, because for now you have to do it like this. Then after that set url, sender url, and set last message. Now how can you get the sender name and sender url? The process is quite simple. You just have to simply fetch the data from firestore. Okay, and that process is also simple. You just have to declare the variable in reference for firestore. Okay, and then simply use get method for fetching data, and that process is quite simple. I just declared a you can say global string which is sender name and sender url, and this is how I'm fetching the data of sender name and sender url. Okay, because here I am passing sender uid. So you guys know how to fetch data from firestore, so you just have to do that process. Okay, and then after for fetching the data you have to simply write it like this. Okay, then after that you have to use a handler, and we will delay the task for half a second. So what you have to do, you have to simply write handler new handler, and here you have to pass rc chat list key sender set value rc model sender, rc receiver key receiver set value rc receiver, and then simply delete this task for 500 milliseconds. Fine, or you can say half a second. So guys, after doing this complete procedure, when you will send a message to someone, so it will create a separate node in recent chats, or separate node in real-time database from the name of recent chat. Fine. Now after doing this part, what you have to do is we also have to fetch data. So for fetching of the data, very first of all you have to create an activity of name recent chat empty activity, then simply use a text view. You can see the code on the screen. Okay, parent layout is constant layout, so you can fix the constants. Okay, and this constant layout is really good to use, but the problem is fixing constant is very time consuming process. That's why I have skipped Okay, you can simply see the codes on screen. I think you guys can do it by your own, you know, if you are my old subscriber and you have seen my previous videos, then you guys should not face any problem while creating these XML files. That's a quite simple process. Okay, and after that we have to use a recycler view. You can see the codes, RV recent chats. Then we will use a floating action button for going on new users, for showing all the users of APK, I mean of the app. Fine. So after this fab floating action button, we have to do is yeah, we have to create a item layout file for recent chat. So simply write rc item. So you can see that I have created a layout file of name rc item. Okay, that's also a very simple process. And then here I'm using very basic attributes like image view, text view, and one image button and text view also. So I will start from the beginning. Okay, very first of all I have created used a constant layout, and its height is 65 dp and width is match parent. Fine. Then I'm using a card view, and then inside that card view I'm using an image view. So basically I'm using this card view to make this image view circular, so it will create a good you can say UI. Okay, so you can see the code of card view on the screen. Then after that you can see the code of image view that we are using. Make sure you pass scale type as central crop. Okay, then after that we are using a text view which is uname tv rc means recent chat. Okay, then after that you can see its code on the screen. Then after that I'm using a very basic text view which is for last message. So here we will show the last message that we have sent to the user, and then later we will have this time tvrc. Okay, and here I just want to reduce its size, which should be 8 sp, will be fine. Okay, so guys, now you can see the code of this time TV on this screen. Okay, and now after that I'm using a very basic image view which is a tick IV list. So you know guys, this is a feature like blue tick and scene delivered. So that functionality is implemented using this image view. Okay, so you just have to write down the code and simply give it name tick list IV. Okay, for now, and after some time we will implement that functionality too. After that you have to use this text view, which is going to be a very basic text view. Here we will show the message of count of new messages that you have received from a specific user. Like WhatsApp, if you receive 5 new message from a specific user, so that 5 message count is shown on that user's window, I mean user item on the chat window. So same thing we will implement here. Okay, and here you can see that I have a background of name m number back. So I will also show you the code of that background, so you guys will not be confused. Simply create a droppable file. Okay, and give it name m number back, and after that you can see its code on the screen. That's pretty simple. Okay, pause the video, write down the code, and then after creating this layout file for item, now it's time to create a vholder class. So you just have to create simply, you know, how can you create it? Simply click on this package, then go on new, and that's after selecting this Java class you have to enter rcvh. Okay, and that class will be created. After that you have to write extends recycler view dot vholder, and it will show a red block. So click on this red bulb, it will show create constructors matching super, press enter, so it will create this constructor. Okay, matching super. After that you have to declare a few variables like name tv, last time tv, for text view, for image view, for string. Okay, three main variables are required. Then after that you have to create a method which is going to be public void set list. First parameter will be application, because we are going to fetch data inside an activity, not in a fragment. If we fetch data inside a fragment, so here you have to pass get fragment activity. Okay, then after that we have to pass the sequence of parameters that we are going to fetch from firebase real-time database. Now here is the important thing: make sure that the sequence should be same as of model class. Here you can see name, url, last time, scene, delivered, ruid. Same, you have to follow name, url, last time, scene, delivered, ruid. Fine. After that, here you can see that I have given reference for all the variables that I have declared above. Fine. Then here I'm simply fetching the current user id. Okay, and then here I'm simply storing the data like name tv should show name, last time tv will load last message, time tv picasso for showing the profile. Okay, so guys, after this data showing, what you have to do is RVCH RC model message. Yeah, now it's time to fetch this data inside recent chats. So now you have seen the XML code of this recent chats. Now it's time to click on this Java code. So very first of all, you have to declare a variable for firebase database, then database reference, then recycler view, then floating action button, then two strings current user ID, username, and then linear layout manager, then name TV. Fine. After this, you have to give reference for recycler view, and then simply use this code. You can see that we have initialized a linear layout manager. So basically we are using it for fetching the latest child, sorry, for fetching the last child of firebase real-time database on the top. So basically it will fetch the data in reverse direction. Okay, so the last value that was updated on real-time database will appear first on the recycler view item. So that's what we are going to achieve by doing this set reverse layout true, set stack from end true. Fine. And now after that you have to fetch current user ID. Okay, here you can see the reference for recent chats, which is very simple. You can see on the screen. Here is the reference for fab new icon. So when user will click on this fab new chat, so we will go on this chats activity. Okay, and this chat activity is a code, I mean it is a feature of previous tutorials. So you have to watch my previous videos for that. And this is a very simple intent that we are using here. Now come inside this on start, the main part here. Okay, so guys, here we are going to fetch data from firebase real-time database using a library which is firebase UI, firebase recycler options. Okay, so you can see we have declared a variable for firebase recycler options, and here we have simply passed the parameter which is RC model. So we will use this parameter for fetching. So we will use this parameter for fetching the data. Okay, so firebase cycler options, then options, new firebase cycler options, build a RC model, set query recent chat reference, RC model.class, then build. Okay, after creating this, what you have to do, you have to use firebase recycler adapter for fetching data, pass model class, pass a static class, then create a variable, then initialize it, and pass again model class, then pass the variable that we have declared for this firebase options, and then later you have to simply inside this on bind we hold the method, simply call the method that we have declared, we have created in recycler view, sorry, view holder class RVCH. We have to call this method. Okay, you can see that we have called it holder.setlist, get application model, get name, get URL, get last message, get time, get scene, get delivered, get RUID, and name, URL, UID, then after that holder name TV, intent recent chats dot message activity dot class put extra. Okay, so you have to write this part of code and you have to pass few data with this intent in order to chat with that opposite user. Okay, and then inside this on create view holder you have to simply attach the layout file, which is a view in layout inflator dot from parent dot get context inflate r layout RC item parent. That's all. Okay, then after that simply here you have to write two lines, otherwise you will not be able to fetch data, which is recycler view firebase recycler adapter dot start listing fire recycler view dot set adapter. So guys, after doing all this step, when you will send any new message to the user, and now one important thing, do not forget to write this part of code, otherwise data will not appear in recycler view. Okay, it is a very important step. Now after that open fragment number one, and here in this fragment one, when user will click on a chat, so you have to open the on click. Inside this on click, when user will click on chats, so you have to pass recent chats instead of chat activity. Okay, and if you want, so you can pass this name here also, but you can avoid this part of code for now. Okay, it's not mandatory. Focus on this intent part. Okay, make sure you go to recent chats, and in the recent chats, when you will click on fab icons, you will go on chats activity, and in the chats activity I have to show you one more small change, which is chat item, yeah, chat profile item. Here I have made a small UI change, so you can see that now this send message button will appear here. Okay, so you can see the code here. Fine, so now your chat item will look like this. Okay, question name. So this was the only change that I have done in this layout item files. Okay, so this was a complete code that you have to implement in order to show recent chats in the application, social media application. Okay, so so guys after implementing the recent chat functionality in the application social media app, we are going to implement some more features, like we are going to change the logic of chat system, because now we are going to add multiple functionalities like replying to stories, sharing short videos, sharing posts in chat system. So we are going to implement all these functionalities, and we are also going to change the post retrieving feature, in which the user will only see the post of their following people. They will not see all the posts that is uploaded on the application social media app. Okay, so we are going to add some of these features. So let's start with the changing this UI. So now you can see that the previous UI was different, and now I have implemented this UI. This is for forwarding post, this is for comment, this is for like, dislike, and now here I have shifted this button. You can see more options, and you can see its code. Okay, and I'll be showing you from the very top that how we are doing it. You guys will not be confused, and you can implement everything. You can see the parent layout is card view. You can see the attributes that I have passed here. Then we are using a very basic linear layout. Okay, inside that card view, when you will expand it, so you will see the orientation is vertical and ID is LL post. Then you can see this constant layout. So basically you can see that how I am doing all of this. Okay, so I'm using this constant layout. Inside this we are using four childs: image view, text view and image button. Okay, now you can see the code for this text view, which is a very basic code. We are just trying to make this image view circular, and then after that we are using this text view for name, this text view for timing, and this image button for more options of the post. So this was the complete code, and let me expand it. You can see the code for image view, you can see the code for this text view, and everything is on the screen. Pause the video, write down the codes, then you can see the code for this time and the code for this button. Fixing constant is a time consuming process, that's why I'm just skipping it. Okay, and I'm showing you the direct codes that you can write down in your application and it will work fine. So now after that you can see that we have changed these three icons. So I will also provide you these icons on my website, which is rajansharma.com. Visit now, join membership and get all the codes. Okay, so this is the complete or you can say minor changes that I have done. You can see image view, then second image view, okay, then third image view, forward post button. You will get all these icons on my website. Okay, so this was a change that you have to do in the post layout. And one more thing, that I have made the image view and exo player gone by default. We will make it visible in the Java part. Okay guys, this was the change that you have to do in this post layout. Fine, after that you have to come back in this message member, and guys, we are going to increase few strings here in order to implement new features like sent, delivered, seen, user have read the message or not. So for implementing these functionalities, we have to increase for child, which is going to be delete, read, delivered, and RC sender, RC receiver. So basically, let me explain you. This delete is the key that we need to delete the message. This is for read, that user, the receiver have read the message or not. Delivered is for the message is delivered or not. This RCS means reaction number of sender and reaction number of receiver. So this was the functionality that we are going to implement. Okay, when you will click on a message, so you can react on a specific message, and that reaction will appear on the receiver's end as well. Fine, so this was the functionality. So you have to increase all these: read, delivered, RCS, RCR, and then after that simply select all these and create getter and setter, and you guys know that how to do it. Okay, so after creating getters and setters, you have to open message view holder, and now guys, make sure that in the message view holder you pass correct sequence of these strings here, otherwise your data will mismatch when you will try to fetch it. And what you have to do, you have to copy this string: time, type, sender UID, sender name, audio, image, delete, read, delivered. All these strings should be in same sequence, okay, here, otherwise you will face error. So just pass all the strings carefully, and inside it you have to write sender TV, receiver TV, give its reference, fetch simple, not required now. So simply write down sender text dot set text message, and here receiver text dot set text message. Fine, so for now you only have to do this, and then you have to create a method of name check message if UID equals to current user ID. So we will simply do this, and if it is not equals to, we will do this. So this was the code that you have to write in this message view holder. And now come back to the message activity. So guys, here very first of all, we will change the reference of message, okay, because previously we were storing it in a message node, but this time we are doing something different, okay. So now the different thing is, let me explain you. Very first of all, you have to declare a string of message key. You can pass it here like this, okay. So create a message key, and then you have to pass the value, which is the message key equals to sender user id underscore receiver uid. So guys, we are only going to create a separate, or you can say a single node for storing messages, and I will show you. Just wait a minute. Firebase console, so you guys will have better understanding that how we are storing and fetching the chat messages. So as you can see that here we have node chats, then we have this user IDs, and inside this we are creating a single child. That's all. We are not creating the reference like before, sender UID, receiver UID. I have changed that logic system in order to make a better and more easy chat system, okay. So guys, here you can see that we have values like delivered, receiver, sender, receiver, and read all these value, okay. So now I hope you understand about the reference. So here you have to simply create message key and then create check message node. So you also have to create a database reference, okay, and the reference you have to create will be check node reference and message ref, okay. So you have to create two references, message reference, check message node. So now after that, in this check message node, you have to write database.get reference chats, and then we will do a simple validation. So here guys, what we are actually doing, that we are checking that if we already have a message, I mean if we talked to that user previous before, so we will not create a new child in database. We will store data in the same child that was created when receiver sent me the first message. And if we have not talked before and you are trying to send the very first message to that user, so you will create that reference in database, okay. So it's a very simple validation check message node, that if it already exists, so we will pass the data in the same node again and again, and if there is no child exist in real-time database, then we will create a new one. That's what I'm doing here, okay. So if it already exists, so we will save the message reference as chats, message key, and message. And if it do not exist, so we will create a reference by our side, which is message reference dot get reference chats receiver uid underscore sender uid child message. So make sure you write down all these steps very carefully. Do not create any change by your own, otherwise you will face a lot of errors and you will not be able to implement the chat functionality, okay. So I'm just trying to make everything simple and easy to implement, okay. Simply write this part of code, pause the video, write down the code, or visit rajansharma.com for source code. Simple. And after doing this part of code, what you have to do, you have to open this send btn. So here you can see that we have this method send message, okay. And yeah, few more functionality that you have to, okay, let's focus on that thing later. Now after this send message, simply come inside this method, and you can see the time that I have fetched here. So it is a sequence for time, okay. I have also changed it. So now when user will click on the send button, so you have to simply store the values like this here. Set time, current time, message, sender UID, type will be T, delivered, delivered, read, set RC. You have to leave these values like this, okay. And then we will store key, this random key, in the part of the place of delete, because this key is the only unique value that we have in real-time database, okay. Current millis is also unique, but the problem is when you try to send multiple data, when you try to save multiple data in firebase database, so the millis value sometimes saved as same, and that's a problem, okay. So we don't want any problem. That's why I use key for avoiding such kind of errors. Fine guys. And then after that, I have already shown you the code for this recent chats. So now I will show you how I'm achieving this delivered and read, okay. So for that, you have to open the fragment one and main activity. Yes, here fragment one and main activity. So very first of all, let me start with the fragment one, so you will understand that how we are actually doing it. So guys, in for achieving this read and deliver functionality, we have to store the user status, like user is online or not, okay. Now here you can see that I have created a node online where I will store the value online. Yes, yes, okay. And second node that I have created is status. So inside this, what actually I'm doing is I will check that user is chatting or not, or seen or not. Okay, so that's a pretty simple functionality that we are going to implement. Now you can see here last seen is 6:12 p.m. Fine. So here in this fragment one, very first of all we will make the user online. So when user will come online, so we will do this. Okay, so you have to create a method of name make user online, and after creating this method you have to simply call it inside this on start, or you can also call it inside this on activity created. You can call it anywhere as you want. Okay, so you can see that I have called this method here. So this was the code for fragment 1. Now in the main activity, when user will click on back pressed, so we have to make the user offline. Okay, so when you will click on this, so we will make user offline. Okay, so this was the code that you have to write in main activity on back pressed. Okay, so guys, this was a complete code that you have to write in order to fetch the data, for in order to fetch the message. Okay, so after that you have to open the on start. Here I will show you how can we fetch the values. So here you have to pass the message reference. Okay, and then here simply you have to do is fetch this user ID and create a method which is holder.checkm, pass UID, sender UID, and after writing this part of code you will be able to fetch all the messages in your Android app, in your social media app. Okay, so this till this part of this video we have implemented the recent chats, we have implemented the post layout UI changing, and we have implemented the message new chat system in the application. Okay, so guys, now we will implement the functionality of showing double tick and red green dot if user is online. Okay, so very first of all you can see that I have this RC item XML file where I'm using a very basic image view in order to show the online status of user. So guys, if user will be online, so we will make this dot visible, so you can see that the user is online. Okay, and it will appear like this on the mobile screen, and by default I will make it gone. Okay, so just you can see the constant codes that I have given. It's a very basic image view, clickable, elevation 100, scale type center crop, visibility gone, and make sure the ID should be online ivy green. After that you have to open this RCVH and simply declare extra image view which is online dot, and then give its reference here, you can see. And after the reference you have to create a very simple method which is public void create online string user ID. Okay, and use this database reference in order to fetch data, and if online equals to yes we will make it visible, else we will make it gone. That's a very simple and easy logic that we are using here for showing the online status of the user. Okay, so this was the complete part of code that you have to write in this check online method. And also open your recent chats activity, so you have to call this method, otherwise it will not work. So simply inside the recycler view, inside on start method where we are fetching the data, we have to call this method, see here. Okay, so just like after doing that we will open the message layout, and guys now here you can see that I'm using image view for showing the tick. Okay, that user have seen the message is delivered, or the user is offline online, all these functionalities. So let me show you from the very beginning. Okay, so guys, I'm just using a constant layout. You can see that I have done no changes in this receiver part till now. Okay, in upcoming tutorials we will handle that thing also, because we are going to add so many features like so very first of all you can see that this is a constant layout, okay, that we are using. Let me show from the very beginning. This is a text view, very basic for receiver side. Okay, and I have not done any changes in this one. So now just come to this constant layout which have ID of ms text. Okay, and then guys here yeah, inside this constant layout you have to write this padding layout gravity right, and after that we will use this text view which is for message. Okay, and you can see the padding attributes that I have added. Okay, so I have added padding right 30 dp for this icon. Okay, and after you can see the code of this, then I will show you the code of the image view that I'm using here. So you can see the image view name is scene tick IV, padding height with 20 dp, source will be sent offline. Okay, so you will get all these icons on my website ranjansharma.com. So join course now, join membership now on my website. Okay, you have to join the membership on my website, not on YouTube channel. Okay, so please do not repeat the mistake, do not join membership on my YouTube channel, join it on ranjansharma.com. Okay, so guys, after that you can see that this is a code for image view that I'm using. Okay guys, now come here in this message activity, and so guys, now here we have to fetch the status of the user, that user is online or not, that user is chatting with us or not. So how actually we are doing it, you can see the method fetch chatting status here. Okay, and inside this method I'm simply using the reference for online, I'm saving the reference for chatting. Okay, so you just have to do this, and here I'm fetching the value of online, that if user is online, so delivered will be yes, and if user is not online, so delivered will be no. So basically delivered is a global string that I have declared and I have initialized as null from the beginning, but if it is yes, so we will assign a value yes, and if it is no, so we will assign the value no. So this was the change that you have to do inside this. Okay, online reference. Second thing we are doing for fetching the chatting status, so you have to write down the reference which is chatting ref sender uid, and fetch values like chatting snapshot dot get value, and if chatting is yes, so read is yes, if chatting is no, so read is no. And it is also a global string that I have declared and initialized as null, but later we will just assign a value yes or no if chatting is yes. Okay, so this was a very simple validation that we are doing here, and you can also fix this last in db. And one more thing guys, that inside this self chatting status, make sure you pass value yes in this chatting, and scene should be online. Okay, and in this on back pressed you have to make it no, and here you have to pass the time. Fine, now I will show you the reference, and also here you can see that I have declared a string delivered read. Okay, online chatting last seen, all these value I have saved, and now after that I'll show you the reference so you guys will not be confused. Okay, so the reference for fetching the data is reference is already given in this method, so you don't have to go in the on create. Here you can see the reference. Okay, so this is how so basically here I am saving the status of current user that we are chatting. Okay, and here I'm fetching the status of receiver who we are talking to. Okay, so that is a very simple logic that we are working on here. Okay, so if you will just think about it very carefully, so you will understand everything that what we are doing. Okay, so after fetching these values, you have to open this send message method where we are storing the messages, and here you have to pass the value set delivered delivered, set read read. Okay, pass these two values, and now you have to open the message view holder, because that's where we have to do our working. So open this message view holder, and very first of all here what we are going to do is we are going to initialize a variable for image view, which is image view tick. Okay, after that you have to give its reference here, and after giving the reference, what you have to do is you have to simply create and make sure that inside this method check m you have to make it invisible if it is a send receiver side. Okay, because see, this is the sender side. Okay, and this is the receiver side, so you have to make it invisible, I mean gone here. Now after that you have to create a method which is check scene, and you have to pass three conditions, or basically we are passing two conditions together, so we are using this or operator. So guys, basically there is a difference in this and operator and or operator. So see, when we use this or operator, it means that if both the conditions, I mean this condition and this condition, if both these conditions will be true, then this statement will be executed. Otherwise, if one of them is not true, or you can say false, then this statement will not be executed. So that is the difference. And if we use this one, it means that if only one condition is true, then statement will be executed. So that's why now in the scenario we want both the conditions to be true, then we will execute this line. That's why I'm using this or operator. Okay, so now you understand the difference between this double dash and this and. Okay, and means both conditions should be true, and this means only one condition needs to be true. So here you have to pass this three validation, which is yes. So we will pass this. You can see blue tick, and here you can see double tick, and here you can see single tick, that if user the message is not delivered, user have not seen it, so we will show a single sign, single tick, double tick, then blue tick. So this was a very simple validation. And again also you have to open the message activity where you are fetching the data, and you have to call that method in order to get the status that user have seen the message or not. So simply here you can see that check seen and check m. Okay, and pass parameters read and delivered. Here we are fetching these values. Okay, so after writing this part of code, when you will send any message to the user, so it will simply show that the message is seen or not. And one more thing you have to do in the message activity is you have to create a method for updating the message. So guys, you have to create a method update scene, and here you have to simply create a map which is read yes, delivered yes, and then we will update the value by using a order by child method of firebase. Okay, simply write query message reference. Here you have to pass, then order by child sender UID equals to receiver UID. That's a very simple validation. And then after that you have to use for data snapshot method for updating the data in every child where this value will be same. Okay, so you can see for data snapshot get children, snapshot get reference, update children. So this is a very simple part of code that we use in order to update data in all the childs of the firebase real-time database if the validation is true. Okay, it's a very simple thing. So after doing this, when you will open the message activity, let's say for example if some user have sent you a message and you were offline at that time, but now when you open the message activity, so those messages should appear as seen. So this is what exactly we are implementing here. So now when you will open that message activity, so all the message that the other user have sent you will start showing as seen. Okay, so that user will be able to see that you have seen, you have read all the messages. So this is a functionality that we are going to implement here. Okay, and I hope you guys understand. Simply create a map, pass two parameters, read, delivered, yes, yes, then use a firebase query in order to update the childs. Okay, so that's all you have to do, and make sure you call this update scene method inside this reference, inside this check node reference. Okay, so if exist, call this update scene, and if it does not exist, to call update scene here. So here you have to call this method only, do not call it anywhere else in the activity, otherwise you might face null pointer exception or crashing. Because let's say if you are not talking to any user and you are going to send the very first message to someone, so in that scenario this reference does not exist in real-time database, but that's the problem, it does not exist, but you will run the query, so it found it null, and if it found it null, so it will crash the APK, and that's not a good feature. I don't want you guys to crash the APK other. Okay, so I hope you guys understood the logic that we are doing here. Okay, so that's a very simple process. First of all, we will store the value read delivered, and then we will fetch those values and do the validation that if it is true, yes, no, so we will show the seen, tick, or delivered icons. Okay, so that's a very simple logic that we are doing here. I hope you guys understood all the procedure. Okay, so pause, you can pause the video on every step, write down the code, and in case if you don't want to see the 100 videos, you can simply visit rajansharma.com, join membership, get all the codes in seconds. Thank you for watching.